Okay, are there other suggestions?
I would like to see a branch towards the region of decision makers, because a teacher influence the brain, let's say, of persons in order to change their decision and decide to study physics. I would not like to use, but I will use it, the word propaganda. A teacher makes a propaganda for physics, and much work is done for those people who work in this region, in this field. I don't know if it is the appropriate word to be on the table, but to have in mind.
No, propaganda means so outreach. That is, it is a proper word for.
The physics teacher is making propaganda for the physics service.
Yes,
The role of teachers in promoting the inspiration to become physicists.
Well, I had that in the benchmark, to say the physics teacher is an ambassador of the subject of physics to the wider community. And how can you prepare for that?
Like this?
That may be better in the second year subject.
Physics studies.
Physics studies.
Well, physics studies on the one hand, but also
Yes,
if
physics teachers and ambassadors.
let's say if the next finance minister has good information on physics, that might be useful. Like we heard yesterday in Chris's talk.
But then there's also something different. The profession of a physics teacher is regulated in all countries. And I think it's worthwhile to try to influence the government by recommendations, trying to influence the political decisions on the topic. Because in many countries, it's hopeless to change something in the profession, especially for physics teachers. It's a little bit political.
What is express this regulations?
And recommendations.
Yeah.
Trying to change the
Emphasis recommendations.
Well, the specific topic will be decided in the subgroup, so this is just a reminder.
Okay.
I would like to come back to what Jan has been saying just at the end of this morning session. I think we had, first of all, had extremely good presentations of what has been done in previous years. And I should congratulate all of the people who have shown us that what the agreement and recommendations that they came out with are still valid now. However, there are 2 points that are new, and they are due to the new society and to the new structure of the society. Like Jan mentioned, it is the challenge for teachers teaching non-motivated pupils, and secondly, teaching pupils coming from socially disadvantaged houses or disadvantaged homes. I think these 2 topics are so crucial, so really very motivated for Europe, and they have a European really dimension. And I think as a European network, I think it is just our task to look for these common and very deeply new challenges. Challenges of teaching to non-motivated students, and secondly also to socially disadvantaged pupils coming from socially disadvantaged homes.
Yeah, thanks. So I think that it is a new dimension these days.
I would like to continue what Henrik and Jan said, but I will maybe complement it slightly. The union expects some recommendations from us. And if we go and recommend to them physics studies should be recommended, etc., if we go among that one, that will sound slightly selfish. What is our real role? Our real role is to impact the society. We should transfer to society that physics is base for understanding the world. As German said, mindset, the unshaven. And I think we should be very careful not to put anything that sounds like our own self-interest. We should address those issues which are of interest for every citizen. And should be careful about that. And I think this also has a connection of Jan and Wilson.
Yeah. Okay. I think last point.
We discussed here about career in physics teaching, but we discussed from the point of view of specific characteristics of this career in physics teaching. But we have to compare with other careers and to emphasize and see how to action when comparing differences with respect to other careers offered to young people. Let's compare, for example, with banking in university. Here was mentioned that in 10 years, a teacher may improve his income, monthly income, by 50%. In Helvetia, they enter with about 4,000 euros a month, and in 10 years they may reach 40,000. So not 50%, but 1,000%. So we have to use socio-physical tools to compare these opportunities for career and see how to compensate this with other factors which may eventually attract young. For example, in IT, the best young, in 10 years, they become millionaire. Others in 10 years, they became billionaire. What happened in physics? Never such example. So we have to see what to do comparing with other careers. So comparison with other careers in other topics in science or in economy or sociology. So thank you.
Thanks. It's already there.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's one last one because it says 50 minutes to each topic.
I actually have to point out that it's possible. I think for students, we would like to talk about how can we learn more about communication during our studies and about soft skills and how will that impact our careers later? Will we profit from it or can we just learn everything on the go? And how will that impact the students we are teaching in high school? Do they benefit from us having more soft skills or not? Do they learn better? So I would like to investigate that, but I'm not sure quite how. And I would also like to investigate new possibilities in teaching So just not using traditional methods of experiments and slides, and I would also like to maybe investigate using art and theater. So because that would collect all age different intelligences in one big project. So all students could investigate the same thing, but in a different way.
So that's more for the
Can I translate your suggestion in interaction with other subject communities?
Would that be a PCK?
No?
Yes, actually, yeah.
Wouldn't that go under this group, Pedagogical Conference knowledge? And that's not the general.
At this level,
and also to okay, I think we should close the first point, and then we'll go to the.
there are three last. Alberto?
Aspect related to the thesis for citizen, etc. It's important to individuate the content, which kind of content are very important for all citizens, and which content are important for the student that can go to follow a thesis career or another study. So in this sense, we have to individuate this kind of topic are very important for the cultural, to transmit the cultural value of society.
I think to one extent it's how to impact society, it's also then also interaction already at this point. And again, I think it comes again in the education, how to implement this in education.
Tommaso?
So I would like to see that what teachers think about their needs, and what they need, what kind of professional development, because we are discussing everything from our point of view, but I think we could make a survey and ask teachers what they think about their
I think these topics goes to the last group, like professional development. Yeah. Okay, so I had what? The needs of teachers. So.
Yeah.
Please.
Tommaso and
Actually, this is the last general aspect. I think it was touched upon about the regulations, but for us, the most important thing is not so much the regulations as general lobbying of government. And we have to up our game to try and influence policymakers directly. And that is, I would say, probably the biggest lesson we learned in England. We have to go from arguing about the specifics to say, hey, the big issue is this. It's like lobbying, it is more political. It is a small thing.
sorry, can you repeat in keywords?
Lobbying government.
Content for society maybe can be supplemented by two very important words: environment and energy saving. Maybe. Yes.
Is it included in contents?
Overall, the last suggestions, I see something that I would like to say before. We are breaking the common vision of the secondary school physics teacher, going towards something that is very important, because about the pedagogical content knowledge, we are very focused on the teacher and not on the student. The student is a citizen with some ideas about society and so on. And if we want to impact on society, we have to start from students. And it's not simple. So the first point is that there's a lot of, for instance, we were talking about the representation, the epistemological approach, and most of the teachers are not trained to open their very peculiar training at the university, for instance, to talk with other disciplines. We were talking about environment, about energy last proposal, and for instance, interdisciplinarity is very important. Let's think about thermodynamics in physics or chemistry. Students usually have both representations, and they don't understand. So I propose interdisciplinarity, the relationships between physics and other disciplines, and the stronger study of the naive representation of students, and not only on the secondary school. Because, as I said, most of the impact is before the secondary school in students. And we must maybe think about this for our teachers.
Okay, so.
And your suggestion is for PCK or for general aspects?
I think it's a problem of PCK.
Okay, so it's included in PCK. So interaction with other subject community. And another point that he mentioned is primary students and teachers in primary student or something like that.
Or secondary one, if you want. Before the conventional idea of the teacher. In Slovenia, the primary school is both. In most of the European countries, the secondary level 1 and secondary level 2. Maybe we
yes, but key word that we have to add.
Yeah, what do we have here?
Why don't we just talk about age groups?
Age groups. Thank you so much.
But we also have a second point, interdisciplinary aspect.
Yeah.
Relationships between.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, but nevertheless, to keep our structure, so let's close now officially point one, then general aspects, and let's go to the second one. Okay. So this means physics education. So we have the first benchmarks, and we have that today a lot. So here the question, if we should extend this, as also Urbaan discussed, or just ask our partners if they are aware of this benchmark, if they use this benchmark, if it's useful, I don't know. Then one or two subjects we have seen here. Examples in several countries to start with physics, and then sequentially some pedagogy, and in many countries we have two subjects from the very beginning. I don't know which way is a better one. And it's a question if it makes sense to compare. I'm sure we have examples of both ways within our partners. Okay? Then status of teacher education is spoke about, and also impact of colonial process means for teacher education. Because usually first a new trend or a decision like the colonial process enters in physical education, teachers are a little bit behind. So for example, in Austria, the transfer to the colonial process was 5 years after the transformation in physics studies. Just some other questions to physics education.
It's an interesting point connected to the Bologna process, because Bologna also includes mobility, is how mobile are teachers in Europe. I mean, we have people sitting all over Europe, and we could actually have a look on how many teachers come from abroad and how easy it is for them, for instance, to start their job in a different country. And I would say mobility, if you speak about teachers, is just shameful.
Just as an anecdote, it's not easy to move in Germany from the northern part of Germany to Bayern.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You have to make an additional exam to become teacher in Bayern, Bavaria, if you have your full exams in Schleswig-Holstein. Just as an anecdote.
Because I don't understand why this problem is inside physics education. How is it?
Yeah, yeah.
The very is buying away the teachers from us.
It's a general.
It's a general. Sorry, I really cannot understand exactly what is this what means this type of physics education. For example, promotion and extension of benchmarks.
Yeah.
You mean the benchmarks for physics students or the benchmarks for teacher preparation?
My benchmarks.
My benchmark.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So it's not a general physics education.
I mean, CK is that we are talking about CK in comparison to CK.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
have.
so you see, our topics are teachers. Okay?
Maybe what I put in this model, differentiation in the physics curriculum between pupil teachers and general students. Yeah.
Okay. Video. Understand, Alex? So, difference between physics education and physics teacher education.
Yes, so if you have a university both future teachers and people preparing for a general business career, a master or at what point should you differentiate? And at what point can they use the same? Also for department that you are teaching.
Okay, so I think this is a debate in almost every institution who is doing physics teacher education. First, on the one hand, it's much cheaper to do it together, and on the other hand, they're saying quantum mechanics for a teacher should be a different one than quantum mechanics for a coming diploma student or a PhD.
So where is it?
Yeah.
I thank you for giving second time the floor. This is a basic question now. We discuss here, we have discussed about past and present, but look at the top there. What about the lifelong learning program? Lifelong learning means that we need physics trainers for all professions in social life, in economy, for politicians, for media, and for everything. Because if they do not know physics, they will make huge mistakes. And politicians saying, oh, we have this semester an increase in the GRP of 3%. But he knows nothing about comparing one trimester with the previous trimester, with last year's semester, what is for a year, and so on. They have to understand more than give mathematics. Physics give more tools, much more. Dimensional combinations, average values, errors, and of course other structural dimensions. So we have to discuss a bit about training physics trainer for long life education programs in different professions. It's completely new. We haven't approached this topic until now.
Concerning the status of teacher education in physics department, I think it's very important not only to evaluate on the status, but also to promote that the teacher long-line training is included in physics department, and there is an integration between the formation in physics content and the pedagogical content, not to promote the separation of the two different aspects. In this sense, we have to find how to promote the physics department, the physics education of the teacher.
Can I get the keywords for that? I didn't listen before. So.
Okay, so the physics department, there should be some kind of convergence between, and really an integration, the word integration. integration of Greek education within a physics department for the education.
If I can add, I want to recover here your suggestion, which is communication social competence for curriculum. Okay, is what you said before, you student, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so we add communication social competences for physics curriculum.
Where? Is it there or here?
No, not here.
Here.
It's what is it?
Okay.
No,
Is
Here.
this physics related at all?
yes. Communication social competences
You have to
But this is really
for physics
education,
in general.
physics education.
For physics.
But again, you speak differently if you teach physics, if you teach history. You have to know how teaching works, how teaching and speaking and using your voice and your body and everything works. This is nothing really physics related.
Yes, it is.
Is it? Do you speak differently when you
Okay. I think we should leave the discussion for the afternoon.
So just while we're brainstorming all these topics, could I just suggest that we also have to be focused exactly on the aim of working group 4, because there's only a limited time to do anything. And working group 4's subtitle is to recommend strategies for increasing the supply of well-trained physics school teachers. It's not an overall investigation of physics education. It is the supply and the training. And in other words, it's to try and identify barriers to the recruitment of teaching, of teachers, and possibly ways to make the teaching profession maybe more attractive. But it's not really to look at all aspects of school physics education. We cannot hope to do that. And the rest of the subtitle is to enhance the role of university physics departments in helping the teaching of physics in schools. That was my previous point. And that is expanded in some other lines in the submission to the EU, which we have all got. And that is things like contributing to professional development, informally, formally, contributing more directly to physics teaching, perhaps to go into schools, sometimes postgraduate students even go into schools and help as a little bit of outreach, and running master classes and special laboratories for schools that don't have laboratory facilities. And I know in my own department, the students doing what's called advanced higher school examination come and do their project work in our laboratory, sometimes research laboratory, because they're doing effectively a mini research project. That's the type of thing I think this is aimed at. But, so it's two aspects. But one is looking at enhancing the supply of teachers. In other words, improving their training, but improving the numbers possibly as well, which links to identifying barriers and making what could make the profession more attractive, perhaps, to school leavers and graduates.
If I can comment on that.
Yeah, so just to transfer this. So this means in the first general aspect, we should also detect barriers in this process.
Yeah.
Right?
Looking at the recruitment to the profession.
Instead of status within the physics department, it should be the status within the student population.
Yes, that's right. As the school leavers see this as a potential profession. Yes.
Okay.
Where is it?
Here we are. Okay. Here you mean? Yeah.
Just to take on that point, it's on that side, I tend to I say the other side of that is simply one word, marketing. It's not about just barriers, you've got to do something about marketing, it's an activity which again doesn't come naturally to us, but we have, in our experience, found we practice marketing.
We lose this one.
Yeah. No, we
That
still,
was the first one. I think.
I'm still at the status of teacher education, not in physics department, but in,
Well, in physics department could also be.
yeah, but
The status of the teaching profession is what we were talking about.
wasn't it said status of teacher profession among students or among?
Among the physics students.
It's just, this is, I think it's one of the
It's not a problem among the physics students, it's a problem among people who are applying for the classes.
The moment they have to decide whether they want to become a teacher or not, I think quite many start the education, physics education, intending to become teacher and then end up in research.
The problem with the difference is that different points where you have to decide if you want to be teacher or research. Some start on lectures on the university, and some later on start. So there is the differentiation between.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Let's go back to the first thing. Because what you said, I think it's the second point, shortage and then quality. Okay, after shortage.
So,
Where is it? I didn't see it.
let's say, how university people enter, well, say, I go into teaching or physics. I'm interested to analyze how the crossover. Okay. And also we have a crossover right at the end of the career, where people at a master or even at a PhD decide to switch into teaching after all.
Okay, then to the physics education, and at one point goes over from physics education to physics teaching education or vice versa.
Yes.
And also maybe later in the profession. Yeah. Okay, other than Maja, points to the physics education, please.
Under one of the subjects, I think it would be also good to discuss what are adequate complementary subjects to go with physics.
Okay. Yep.
Is this here or physical?
Just in parentheses, one two subjects and then complementary subjects. Is this fine? Yes, so also with two subjects, there are many questions. Is it allowed just to combine physics with mathematics or with some science, or is it also with everything? So I have students with religion and physics, or music and physics and so on.
I hope you are aware that most of these points will not survive to the.
No, I think it's the most important task for afternoon to select those topics which are visible, which are interesting, which are the scope of hope and then working for, and then how to work on this. Okay, let's go on to PCK. So we added already some points other than other additional points.
Evaluation of PCK.
Yeah, it's already there.
It's already.
I think it's really an important point. Others? Yeah.
I think it would be interesting to analyze PCK with respect to other complementary or similar models about this. I mean, this is an American model, but in Europe, in the same year, there are, for example, the didactic transposition plans and also the educational construction that had the same aim but different framework, different. So it would be also interesting to understand better. This one, the contrasting way of practical models to understand better.
Yeah. It's completely. And
there are already some works about this comparative studies.
Yeah. Okay. Then I think about Maja.
And an aspect very important is how to develop PCK, so the strategy that can be adopted to develop and the teacher training, teacher preparation courses, kind of strategy, this kind of integration, we have to promote, develop discipline, and this is related with material for that can be used in this kind of.
That's already a point.
Yeah.
That's already a point.
Specific activity.
Yeah, no, it's already maybe implemented in this first point. Okay.
I don't know if we are interested to see which PCK for people that teach physics but are not graduated in physics. So for the primary education, there are people that they have to teach physics, but they have not physics education. So this PCK is different from the people that have already
in-service education.
Speak a little bit about Maja. It really depends on topic and depends on the exercise.
Yeah. Maybe that fits better into group 4. You have, let's say, in-service training for pre-qualified teachers, but also what you call remedial in-service training for people who are underqualified and want to, let's say, upgrade.
Good. So if we find with this point, then we can go on, because your suggestion was already for the next one, namely for the professional development, that there may be at least two groups. And one group is those who are not so well prepared in physics, and how this in-service training should look like compared to those who are more or less at a physics study. This is
the third group who are well prepared in physics, but not in didactic. People, the engineers coming in.
So I don't know if it's a problem also in other countries, because if there's a lack of teachers, then usually people are recruited from outside. Yeah. They are mostly engineers, as we have yesterday.
Military officers. Military officers.
Also, that's, yeah. And they really, I think, get some other in-service training, and sometimes they have some courses. It's not so just time. I don't know if this is an issue.
This goes into security.
We could call it bridges.
You are a teacher and you want to get additional knowledge.
No, it's not.
One thing I think you have to get quantitative data, how many people are really, which percentage of teachers are really participating in the in-service training, professional development.
I am not sure if this is okay. If you hear, the question is to obtain data, the percentage of teachers who are going and doing in-service training. So, for example, you have 30 physics teachers in Austria, and which percentage they think is attending in-service training? I don't know if this is easy to get. Yeah, but in other countries, I think they are hiring these ones, the purpose.
Also, the feedback mechanisms, how teachers can have input into the programs.
Okay, yeah,
feedback and evaluation.
This is, no, this is for in-service training.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, because feedback is the PCK. Feedback. Okay. Yes.
Okay. The second point on the PCK slide, I think it was.
I think
Obligation.
No, sorry.
I don't, well, I was proposing including PCK here. Just how well are they?
Yeah. So I think the first one is sort of promotion. If left.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's the PCK slide was saying
No, I
about,
see. Okay.
about the evaluation. Can we,
This is PCK.
accreditation as much as evaluation, how you actually accredit, how you provide certificate of some form as well. I don't know if it's a
Accreditation. Yeah. Okay. Are there? Okay, now you see we are at this point where we have long lists. And as I said, again, the first task in the afternoon and one of the first will be just to discuss on the really important points and on the physical points. Okay, what we want to do. But before noon, we still have now to decide how many subgroups are left and explained to work within our sentence, so within this group. And how to differentiate and take orders. Okay, are there some suggestions?
Another point here can be institutional relationships. Which kind of institution are interacting? University, school, administration, which kind of interaction is, or which kind of institution are involved in professional development?
Okay, so there's still are ending points.
Yeah.
Okay. As you can see from the left side, I think the most topics are in the first part and the least ones in the last one, but this maybe is just a matter of becoming tired. Okay.
As I pointed out, the things we have in our application is we want to choose to show ways how to supply more physics teachers. So this could be kind of one of the groups which covers probably most of the points in the general thing. And then the second point is that we want to supply not just physics teachers, but we want them well educated. So this could be the second group we are forming, which deals unfortunately with the rest.
Okay. So this suggestion goes very close to the title. Yeah, exactly. I was success.
And we should come up with the solutions for what we propose.
Okay, so this is a suggestion to make two groups. First is number one, general aspects, and then second is 2, 3, 4. The activity that supply to me is located one. The other is to make better teaching education, and this belongs to 2, 3, and 4. Other suggestions?
Well, I might lean for 1 and 2 and 3 are basically have to do with pre-service training. And then 4, there you have, I think that is the in-service training is part where maybe we have the fewest and where it might be most valuable to have good best practices.
Okay.
So maybe we should concentrate, I think this topic 4 is the one where we have the most chances of contributing.
Okay. Did you understand the fact the suggestion is that topic 4 might be the most important one in the sense that here we can have a large impact on teachers, on the society, and also here there are more different models, maybe not so known everywhere and so not so internationally known, and here we could really make an impact in collecting these models. Good practice models. Okay, so
we can have three groups: the general aspect group with the strand 2 and 3, and the last one.
Yeah, okay.
That would be 3 groups.
3 groups.
So this is the second proposal to make.
There is no space for the 4th group, okay?
Okay. Good, we have to stop this thing. Come on.
You have no room for it. Well, maybe you can go outside.
Yeah, I'm happy with, I could have a suggestion of 3 groups, but it could be with all these topics, instead of trying to do 50 groups of topics, we then do 50 topics with groups. And there seem to be 3 aspects that I'll suggest there: the supply of 5 recruitment issues, training of physics teachers, and maybe that could include in service, I'm not sure, and maybe institutional links, which maybe is a smaller activity, maybe not. But that could be 3 distinct activities.
Okay,
then these topics could possibly distribute themselves in one of those, because there's overlapping topics as well to be listed and everything. So supply recruitment of teachers, training of teachers, and involvement of physics departments in supporting teachers.
And this training you mean also in service training?
It could be part of, I'm not sure where it would go, it could be part of training perhaps, long-term training.
Service training is separated in
Okay, there so again a role for in-service training. So this involvement of physics departments, don't you think that this could be part of that training? Because the training is done in the physics departments.
I was thinking of departments that are not involved normally with physics teachers. But maybe supporting the local environment teachers in the city or something.
Okay, so at least I think we agree more or less that we have 3 subgroups. I think we agreed that one will be supply, and now the debate is what will be the topics of the other 2. One possibility is that our group 4, namely the professional development, is one. The other suggestion is that the involvement of physics departments should be a separate one.
Perhaps professional development and physics departments are going together, because some of that, their activity could be sometimes construed as professional development.
Yeah, but I think especially this professional development is mainly done not in physics departments, but outside. They have separate institutions in several countries. So I think the training is more done in physics department than the professional development.
I think both of them, because you need the physics department to be involved in the training, and you also need it to be giving professional development. I think it can go both. The physics department.
It is a compromise.
Not training, but teacher education.
Okay. I could say this stresses the importance of physics departments to be both groups.
Usually physics departments are involved in some professional development. They are needed. But they are also
So let's take this. So, okay, but then I think we have another question because now we have to divide. Because now we have to divide ourselves, and I think all our work now, this division is being useless if all of you will go to number 1, or number 2, or number 3. So that is the question raising the hands. Who is more attractive and thinks he finds a place in number 1? There's a
Please.
yeah.
No, we need the thesis of Pedagogical.
After all these interventions, I think it would be appropriate to put one slide for 2 pieces of paper to collect one other slide that is number 2, and then focus on 3, because I have got lost in all those interventions.
Okay.
And why we don't use as let's say all the steps in TCK, the main is that they have 3 lists and they have 3 groups. Why we must
The partners have to be in one of the I think the suggestion is not to do it manually, but to write names into a list.
Just distribute the slides.
Okay. Okay. So, you understand? So, we don't take so the suggestion is now to make 3 slides which states title and topics. Okay? And then to make 3 lists, and people assign themselves into this list and write their name. It is meaningful. Even if the outcome is that making one list is everything. So, could we again give insight in the topics? So this will be the pool of tasks assigned to the first subgroup. And again, the first thing after all will be to shorten this list. The list. Okay. Right? Miro? Yeah.
We don't see.
You don't see it, it's too small. It's enlarged, it's better smaller.
May I say something?
Of course.
Because now we have 3 groups, 2 of them will be seated in nice spaces on the 2nd and 3rd floor. It's a fine room with a nice way. The 3rd group should sit or remain here on this with wooden chairs or whatever it is, so that can maybe help you to decide.
I don't understand that. Depends on the
Okay.
And also another, not relevant, we should maybe make a picture in the hour here before lunch.
Everybody has decided
and
on
record that.
Therefore, so the list will go and you have to sign a sentence, but this will take time. But you decided already. Okay, so can I ask again, who decided for group 1?
So let's make
No, there are 3 pieces of paper.
Can we send an email with the slides?
So you want to think about that? Okay, the suggestion is that this will be sent by.
This went by a little quickly. Let me just pause for a little bit. So, do I understand it? We decided on 3 groups. I didn't see any vote on that. I would like to see a vote on that because 3 groups, that means 1.5 times more work than 2 groups. Rule of thumb. So, are you aware of that? Yeah. You are willing to divide tasks in 3 groups? That means fewer members of each subgroup, more work. Are you aware of that? Think about that for a moment. I am very afraid that it is very easy to assign tasks, but also to raise hand, I will do it. But will you? That is the main question. The experience teaches us that this often does not happen. I am very put an expletive word here, leader of a group. So if one volunteers to do work and does not do work, I have a car and I can ride long distances. I will chase it down. Okay? So bear that in mind before we decide on 2 or 3 subgroups. Sure, 3 subgroups make fine division of tasks. But I'm not sure if we will do 6 tasks. Maybe we will only do 3 tasks. Bear in mind we have to finish our work within a year. Yeah? So, and we have written down a lot of tasks. We have a long list, but we will not do all of them, for sure.
Can you ask subjects?
So, yeah, one of the possible ways to go is let us raise our hands. Are there any volunteers to lead subgroup 1? Please raise your hands.
Sorry.
That's my point.
Sorry, there is a piece of, yes, in addition, there are 3 pieces of paper, and please write your name and pass. At the end, we will see if there is a group which is too small, we will integrate, but please, write your name and pass. In the meantime, we can discuss on Alex's suggestions.
But I mean, why do we need it on a piece of paper? We could just raise our hand and we see immediately who goes.
Yeah.
We need names.
Yeah, that is not document. Paper, we have nice document of the model.
Yeah, sure.
But this was my suggestion back then. I was told that people are maybe not aware which tasks are in which group. And they would see it and they would think about lunch or care for it.
So but then the list doesn't apply.
Yeah.
Okay. So let us first make my point stronger. So, who volunteers to lead subgroup 1, as written down here? Please raise your hands. So there is no one volunteering. At the end, there will be someone volunteering. Okay, who volunteers to lead subgroup 2? Again, no one. Okay, there is one volunteer. Who volunteers to lead subgroup 3? So you see my point is strengthened. There was only one volunteer for 3 subgroups. Okay? So, now I would like you to vote. Who is in favor for 3 subgroups? You see the topics. Very nice. But now vote. Are you in favor for 3 subgroups? Raise your hands. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 votes. Who is in favor for 2 subgroups? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Almost the same number.
It's not the same. It's more. It's a bit more. So, now you see, we have a sort of a problem. A natural division of topics in 3 subgroups, but willingness to work in 2 subgroups. So, maybe we should postpone this decision after lunch, and after lunch, you will see your fate. Cannot. We cannot. Okay, we cannot.
Is it possible to distribute this content of the 3 books we have?
Yes. So if they are down like this, then we have to study inside the groups. As we sort this part, we can take off the Oh, we can,
Well, everybody's very shy already.
Yes, 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 this is a very good idea. I have another point to submit for discussion and to vote. Immediately before lunch, we plan to have a photo of the group. Who is in favor? That's a joke. It's just an announcement. Before lunch, we meet here, the lobby, and we take photo of the division. Is it right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
No one is voting.
But nevertheless, the list is there. Okay, so we are not even half the day.
So, okay, now you are writing down your name to one of the 3 subgroups. When we know the names, we will see the distribution. And, yeah, but will we decide before lunch or after lunch? Okay. When we get this list, there will be lunch, and after lunch, there will be division.
You forgot photo.
Okay, before lunch, photo, after lunch, divisions in subgroups, please.